So I'm here to present my views and discuss here how do we really balance speed, flow, and relevant metrics so that we can boost developer experience with developer productivity. The views and opinions which I've expressed here are my own, and they do not reflect my employer, which is Cisco Systems. We'll quickly go through the agenda. We'll talk about understand what the paradox is. We'll walk through the traditional metrics, why they are failing, what are the hidden trade-offs. We'll also walk through, understand the developer experience, what it means. We'll understand what we need to measure and why. We'll understand the AI-powered transformation which we've done. And then I'll share the 4-step transformation playbook with you. So if you remember, if you imagine an analogy of a restaurant where you can have maybe install faster ovens or maybe automate the ordering or have fancy dashboards, but still on paper, maybe developer productivity still sucks, the customers are not happy, the chefs are not happy. And that is kind of something similar which is happening in the software engineering world as well. So if you see that we are in the, I think, the largest workforce transformation right now, where Gartner predicts that by 2028, 90% of engineers are going to be using AI assistants. These AI coding assistants definitely promise faster delivery, higher quality, and happier teams. But that's the paradox there, that 26% of engineers around the world are still not feeling very productive. They feel that they are slow, the flow is not happening. So that's the paradox which we are here to solve here. So that's the paradox where when we face a problem, when we see a bottleneck, we add tools, we add more tools for productivity. We think, oh, that's going to speed it up, but instead it does slow down the productivity. More tools means more context switching. Every time there is an interruption, it's 15 to 20 minutes of prime time lost. Information gets scattered across different dashboards and tickets. Every time you get a notification, you wake up out of your focus work and get disturbed. There's cognitive load as well. Every new tool means that you have to learn new controls, new logins, new quirks as well. Metrics, of course, does show the activity, but the key point I want to make here is not the velocity. We want to measure the flow. We don't want to measure the activity, which is like coding time or how many tickets are solved. We want to measure what is the friction for a developer, how smoothly are the handoffs happening, so on and so forth. So that's missing, and that's the paradox we are trying to solve here. And we want to basically build a sustainable productivity, not just a burnout. So why do the metrics fail? So if you look at the metrics, consider it as iceberg, what we see on the top above the water is, we see metrics like code quality, deployment frequency, cycle time, so on and so forth. But this is measuring the activity. It is not telling us, say for example, when you measure story points, it's telling you, okay, what is the estimation? Doesn't tell you what is the innovation. When you're measuring lines of code, it doesn't tell you about ignores about the quality. When you're measuring lead time, it tells you about the speed, but does not tell you how much time a developer used it for innovation or maybe inventing something or learning something. Was a developer happy? So that data is striking because Atlassian revealed that around 60% of estimations within a team do vary, and that's the problem we are trying to solve, because poor documentation, for example, takes away almost causes 62 million annually for organizations. The problem that we want to solve here is that we want to measure something not that is very obvious or easy, but something really matters so that we can take action. We definitely measure all these, but how do we really measure the code quality, the maintainability, innovation time engineers are spending? That contributes to the retention and the flow. So now about the hidden, we saw why metrics are failing. So the hidden trade-offs is, every time we try to achieve speed, we chase speed, there are hidden costs. So say for example, I want to improve my deployment time. I go and add more tools. The tools lead to cognitive load, lot of context switching happens, and a developer may be distracted by maybe more quality gates, and 30% of time is spent in understanding the tool than focusing on actually building the business logic. So ironically, though, we think that okay, adding more tools and more dashboards are really helping innovation, improve the speed, but still productivity at the developer slows down because the flow is bad. There are a few best practices we can recommend. Say, for example, Netflix has introduced a chaos engineering, or other companies like Spotify do introduce that every time you introduce a new tool, you retire the existing tool. The goal here is to speed, not all cost. Really, it causes the productivity debt, and we want to move towards the flow, a developer flow, and improve the developer experience. So how can we do it? How can we really build a sustainable environment for the developers to thrive? Is basically there are 4 pillars which I want to highlight. Is how do you really address the productivity cycle? So try to reduce the friction. By friction, what I mean is try to smooth the highway, fix the potholes in the developer traffic, for example, remove obstacles, maybe understand why the PR reviews are taking time. I understand why the approvals are taking time, whether the tools, how much tool hopping is happening. Also, try to build in, not bolt on, when it comes to quality. Try to improve the quality by improving the processes so that the problems will show up early, not too late in the game at the end of the development cycle. Third one is encourage innovation. So what I believe is at least 10% of time, if you give the developer to really innovate, understand, take some time to understand the problem, fix it properly, then that encourages the innovation. Because if you completely utilize fully a developer, then the creativity kind of is killed. So that's another suggestion. Lastly, sustaining the flow. It's like, consider that as a quiet library where you do not want too many interruptions. So how do you make it? Is because every time I get into a flow, if I am disturbed, getting into a flow takes a lot of time. Coming out, a disturbance happens very quickly. So that's another suggestion, observation, is that sustain the flow. So essentially, developer productivity, that's the gist of this session, is when you focus on the speed to deliver value, you focus on maintaining a smooth, uninterrupted flow for the developer to actually build systems, and measure it through the developer experience metrics in addition to all the different metrics. So many people have talked in the summit about leading and lagging indicators. Think about it as a GPS. When we talk about lagging indicators, is basically they tell you what has happened, where you've been through the journey, but that it's more about the reflection. It doesn't tell you that it doesn't allow you to take a change course. In addition, in contrast to that, the lagging indicators, say for example, when I talk to a developer and understand the sentiment, what tools are you liking, the tools you are using, or maybe is there any problem in the, are you facing a lot of interruptions, for example, or are you getting answers quickly? For example, are you learning something out of this, or are you juggling between multiple tools? That is a leading indicator. A leading indicator will tell me, it will warn me that, okay, I am kind of drifting and I can change course. So the guidance is that you combine the leading and lagging indicators together, because that gives you a real view mirror as well, and tells you actually that what problems can come to slow you down. So together that will give you the environment where not only it's not about delivering fast, it's about delivering something which lasts longer, because you have a stable environment, and that helps you measure the outcomes, not the outputs. So this is a case study. If AI definitely helps a developer thrive, it's not replacing developers. Introduce AI-powered AI transformation within the developer flow. We've introduced documentation assistant, which will help you to sieve through the different wikis. AI will give you more contextual answers, so that saves around 40% of time in interpreting what documentation is there to understand, comprehend the content, and then save the time and devote it somewhere else. Similarly, testing agent testing, allow AI help you to find bugs faster. It's like a quality testing partner with you, which never gets tired, and that helps you improve the test coverage and improve the code quality together. Lastly, the architecture. We've spent a lot of time in elevating the system architecture by bringing it together using C4 methodology, where we've employed AI-powered agents to understand the architecture, review the code base, which will give you a list of the tools to make sure you address your tech radar, fix the vulnerabilities, and that helps you. With AI-powered, that helps you to really improve the security posture and make sure that all the vulnerabilities are addressed as well. So essentially, AI-powered transformation will help developers to basically work faster, remove the friction, reduce the context switching, and it will free up the developer to give them more time to do what we all are doing good at doing, is solve problems and build smarter systems and guide agents. So essentially what I want to say is that AI does help every developer claim their developer flow. Lastly, this is a 4-step playbook which I use for transformation and improving the organization, making sure the organization runs smoothly, is audit the bottlenecks. What I mean by this is do health checkups, try to map out, okay, where the slowness is, for example. Where are we losing time? Is it approvals? It is renewals? Is this tool friction? It's like walking through my kitchen and see where I have seen the clogs. So best teams or top teams try to fix all these problems under 4 hours. Second one is run developer experience surveys. They do really help. They help you take the temperature of what the developers are feeling, what the sentiment is, what the satisfaction is, how often they are interrupted, what is frustrating them. Take a baseline and try to run the surveys quarterly or every 6 months so that you can come back and recheck how you're measuring progress. Thirdly, pilot improvements. I think Abhi alluded to that in the talk as well, that start small, iterate through the different environment, do pilot improvements, implement AI documentation assistance, streamline flows, or even introduce a flow, define policies for how do you really retain the flow. Lastly, it is about measuring and iterating, is track flow efficiency, track DX score, 4 scores, track how much context switching is happening, because every 5% improvement will really help you to double the effectiveness across different teams. So key insight here is that don't try to boil the ocean. Start something which really hurts, start something very small. Try to fix wherever it is visible, keep improving, keep iterating, keep measuring the impact, because the sustainable productivity will definitely grow when you have these repeated measurable wins. Key takeaways, let's rethink productivity. When a developer thrives, business will thrive. So prioritize developer experience, because that will help you the productivity to follow. Prioritize developer productivity, because that will make sure that the business outcomes are achieved. Remember when you exit remember a hamster. A hamster there's a lot of motion, there is a lot of activity, but it doesn't move anywhere. So we don't want, along with velocity, we also want to make sure that we are measuring the outcomes, not just the activity signals. We're ensuring the flow is very smooth, and when developers thrive, the business thrives. So that will essentially solve the developer productivity paradox, that focus on metrics plus the developer experience together, that will help you to have a smooth organization and happy teams. Thank you.